We'll go ahead and get started with questions.
Kirk, how do you go about putting together a rest of the season plan without crap?
Well, I mean, losing him hurts, obviously, right? We told the guys that we can't, all the things he brought to the team, we can't replace. Well, not one guy can't replace him. But if everybody gets a little bit better, that's how we have to replace him. Everybody has to get better, and everybody has to carry the load. I'm not just talking about just what he brought to the team as far as his physical skills, but his leadership, his toughness, his example that he set for the whole team. We're going to miss it. But we're Saturday, right? We're expected to, we need to play well.
PJ talked on Monday about how it can't be just one guy that steps up. So how important is it that it's not just Dalen or Brev or Daniel Jackson, but that it's maybe a different guy every single week that can step up in Crab's absence?
Like I said, everybody has to be a little bit better, right? The linemen have to improve. The quarterback has to be better. All the receivers have to get better. But that's the way we go about it anyhow. We got to change our best on a daily basis, but that's got to be the mindset. Next man up.
Kirk, you worked with Clay Geary for quite some time. What are some of the traits he brings to the wide receiver room?
He's a tremendous competitor. He's got a great attitude. He's super smart. He's got really good ball skills. Clay's really turned the corner, in my opinion, with his consistency. He's been real consistent. Probably starting at the end of training camp, and now when he's gotten his opportunities, he's been very consistent. I'm a big fan of Clay's. I love the way he goes about his business. Love having him on the team, and I love seeing him have some success.
Kirk, I remember a few years ago talking to you about the quote unquote dude on the team or having a dude. I think we were talking about Tyler Johnson in that kind of category. I'd imagine Chris was either in that category or was approaching it. Are there other tiers kind of beneath that, and who would be in those in that wide receiver room?
I think Chris definitely was approaching that type of category. He was really coming on, and that's why your heart gets torn out for the young man, because he'd worked so hard, and it took a lot of days where he was just getting a little bit better and stacking those days to allow him to continue to climb the ladder and go from a good player to a great player. But the thing is that I felt this way in spring ball when I watched the guys, and then started to feel this way in training camp, that I felt like, we might not have Rashad Bateman and Tyler Johnson on this team, but I felt like we had guys that had the potential, that were close to being good players, right? They're close to having that breakthrough moment, right, where they become more consistent, with it. I had seen them make, each one of them individually, make spectacular plays, but we needed that. We need the consistency out of all these guys, these young guys that were playing and getting time, with it. So I've seen the growth in it, and I'm confident in the guys we have. I think they've come a long way since spring ball, and that's a tribute to Matt Simon and them. Their commitment to change their best on a daily basis and willing to pay the price. They want to be great players. Everybody wants to be a great player, but who's willing to put that action behind it that's gonna give them the best chance to be a great player? And that's why I say I give them and Matt the credit, because they put the action behind it, and Matt's put the teaching into them.
Michigan State's front seven has been able to do a pretty good job of stopping the run and generating some pressures here through 3 games. What's your assessment of their front seven?
I mean, they're very good. Very good. And he has a very good scheme. I have a lot of respect for the defensive coordinator there. I think he's a really bright guy and does a great job. They're really good players, right? And it's going to be a jump for us from a competition standpoint. there's no other way to say it, right? And I'm excited to see where we're at offensively and to see us play against this type of talent.
Kirk, your team has the best third down percentage in the country. What do you have to do to keep that going as that steps up?
You know, I think that, you know, we do well on third down when we're efficient on first and second down. I do think the best, I've always felt this way, the best third down offense is to be good on first and second down. You know, and we've been efficient with it, and, you know, I don't know, knock on wood, we've been doing well on third down so far. And but I think historically in this system we've been pretty good on third down, you know, with it, and I think it goes back to, you know, being efficient on first and second down.
Kirk, I know you don't use them hands-on yourself, but how have the catapult numbers and some of the data on players and their level of exertion helped you guys through this point of the season and going into Big Ten play?
I think it helps a ton, you know, and again, I there's no way I could read that sheet of data. I mean, I can't make heads or toe of it. But I think it helps, you know, as a coach, before this catapult was invented and you had this data, you just had to kind of use a feel for it. You know, hey, we're on the field a little bit too long, they're running too much, or we're not working hard enough, we're not running enough. Now we have the science behind it. So whenever PJ says we need to pull back, we need to do a few less plays in practice, I know that there's science behind it, and so I don't fight it. Like, if you ask Joe the same question, like, I mean, we'd like to run 100 more plays in practice if we could, but, you know, I just go with it now. Whatever coach tells me, that's what it is, and, you know, and I know that there's science behind it, and it's not, you know, he's not just guessing.
Mm-hmm.
What have you learned about the offensive line through 3 weeks, and where do you want to see him grow as the competition level goes up?
I want to see them continue to grow with their continuity and communication and trust in each other. But at the same time, I've seen them grow in that area, you know, in the 3 weeks. I always, Daniel, honestly, like, I always say the same thing to Brian every Sunday, you know, and he always agrees. You know, I'm always talking to him. I'm always saying, man, we got to get our pad level down. We got to play lower. Our first steps got to be better, you know, and we have to strike. Don't lean on them. We got to strike. We got to improve those areas, you know, and it's always the same conversation, you know, and sometimes we're laughing about it and sometimes we're not. But it's how I always feel about the linemen. So I want to just see him continue to grow. You know, like, I always look at it like this, right? I want everything right now, you know, but the truth of the matter is, and I tell the other position coaches this, if when you go to bed at night and you think about your players, your unit, right, and if they're improving, then you should sleep good at night, you know, because you're doing everything you can to get them to be the best players they can possibly be. And if they're meeting you, right, and they're doing the same thing themselves, I mean, what more do we want, you know? But although then I say to them, I go, of course, if you're me, though, I want it now. I need it now, you know. But that's, you know, so you got to take a deep breath sometimes and just look at it and think about it that way. And then you know you're making progress and that you're doing the right things.
Got time for a couple more for Coach?
What's going to be the key to slowing down Jacoby Wyndham? He's already been named Big Ten Defensive Player of the Week twice through 3 games. So what's going to be the key for your tackles?
You know, he has a lot. He has great speed, and he can speed rush you, power rush you. He can up and under you. He has it all. He's going to be a pro. We can't give him anything, though, right? We our sets have to be right. Our hand placements have to be right. If he beats us, he beats us. But we can't get overset and let him up and under us, for a sack. We can't underset and let him speed rush us for a sack. We got to make him work for it. He's going to make plays. You know, he's a great player. He's going to make some plays, but we just got to make him work for it.
Anything else for Coach? All right, Coach, thanks for joining us today. We appreciate it.
Take care,
Thank you.
guys.
Thanks, Kirk.
You're welcome.